All right, we're officially pre-calculus live here. 5 people, look at you guys. I hope that you check the study guide that I put up. Let me get it here. Oh, I never put the answer key up. All right, hold on, guys. I'm just going to show you real quick. I don't know if you did the study guide yet. Hold on. It's my apparatus. It's 2 dog food boxes and a piece of lumber. This is the study guide. There's a lot of questions that you're going to wind up skipping. So if I tell you that we can skip it, just believe me, we can skip it. It's not necessarily on the quarterly. I guess I forgot to post the answers. So I'll post the answers, but I'll go over any questions you guys have right now. And then if you have other questions or you want to just check your answers afterwards, we can do that. But I need you guys to ask some questions here. I'll let you know if it's on the quarterly. If it is, we'll do it. So do you guys have questions? Oh, it's only 7:01. We'll give people some time here. There's nothing about domain on the quarterly. You can skip a lot of them. You want me to put it on here? I don't know if you guys have it printed out. The ones you can skip are a lot of these. You can skip anything that has interval notation on it. So you're gonna do 9, 10, you can do all these. That's good practice. You can skip this one. You can skip that one. You can skip this. You can skip that. You're gonna skip this one. 3, 6, 7. There is a lot of log stuff on the quarterly. You can skip this one, but you need to know how to do this one. You can skip this. And you can skip this little thing here. Is that Deja? No, that's Gabe. Gabe, is that you? Well, I don't know. Ask me some questions about the quarterly study guide. You want me to do logs? All right, since you asked. I mean, it's only been 4 minutes since 7 o'clock, so. One from each section. Yeah, I could do one from each section, but the problem is, like, in the logs, there's not just, like, one thing. Like, there's a lot of different rules, so I could do, like, one of each rule. Like, I would just do this whole page of logs. Does that work? Should I just go? All right. I'm just gonna do the ones that I'm not gonna do the ones I crossed out. Remember with logs, you're gonna take the base here. I don't know if you can see it. So this is a 2. Use the looping trick. The looping trick will help you. So this just wants you to write it as an exponent. So you're gonna loop 2, 3, 8. 2, 3, 8. Same thing. Loop around. Am I getting to it? This one? Yeah, I'm gonna change that one actually. Because there's one similar but not as hard. I'm gonna change this to a 6. I put that on the study guide answer key, so you can check that later. But I'll change that one to a 6 and then I'll do that one. This one, same thing, you're gonna loop around. So 5, 25, 2. Log, base 5, 25 equals 2. Same thing, do the loop. 4 to the 2 equals everything in parentheses. Hold on, Rachel, I'll show you. I have 2 boxes of dog treats and a 1x4. So 4 to the 2 equals 5x plus 1. You are going to have a calculator tomorrow, but you should also know what 4 squared is. It's 16. No, I put a new one in the Google Classroom. The other one wasn't working. So 5x plus 1 is 16, so 5x is 15. And then x equals 3. Are people in the other one? Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me respond back to everybody on the other one. You didn't miss much. Nobody asked questions. I literally just told you a bunch of questions that you could cross out. That was really all you've missed. There is one like number 9 on the quarterly. So I know it's hard to see, but you have to know what the rules of the of logs are. So see how these all have base 9? Anytime you have plus, that's because it came from being multiplied. So you're going to rewrite this as 3m minus 5 and then times 6. Sean, that's it. And then you're going to set this equal to 2. And then distribute the 6, so you get 18m minus 30 equals 2. 18m would equal 32, and then you would divide by 18. So m equals 32 over 18, which is, I don't know, 16 over 9. Sydney, you're going to get blocked in a second. Yeah, you could watch it later. I don't think there's one like 10 on the quarterly. There's not one like 11, so you could skip 11 too. This one, you're going to wind up skipping this one. Oh, no. You're not going to wind up skipping this one. LNE, I think it was a root 7. Anytime you see natural log in E, all right, anytime you see natural log of E, these are inverses, so they go away. So whatever's left is the answer, so it's root 7. Same thing, e to the ln. Yeah, e to the ln, those are inverses. So whatever's left, there was a pi there. That would just be the answer. 15, I don't have a calculator with me, but I'll show you what you would do. Oh, I didn't bring one home. Anytime you see ln, you're going to raise e to this power. So if you raise e to this power and e to this power, e to this ln are inverses. So you're left with x plus 4 equals e to the 7. This, you're going to put this in the calculator. This is a number. Since you're going to put this in the calculator, this is a number. You can take 4 away from it. It's going to be some crazy decimal. I know the answer. This crazy decimal winds up being like 1096. So then you can take 4 away from this and get left with 1092.63. Yeah. So then same thing with this one. This one's a little bit harder. This one you have to think about e to this. Think of this like it was just x. So the first thing you do is add 2. So you get 5 e to the x plus 1 or 3 equals 9. And then you divide by 5, divide by 5. So you wind up getting e to the x plus 3 equals 1.8. And then you have e. So as soon as you see e, take the natural log. Natural log of e is the inverse. Take the natural log over here. So what plus 3 equals the natural log of 1.8? This is a number. So you're going to take this number, whatever it is in the calculator. Because 5 is a coefficient. X plus 3 is in the exponents. I have the answers for the study guide, so I'm gonna put them up after, but you would just take 3 away from whatever this crazy decimal is in the calculator. And I think you get negative 2.41. What number on the front? Number 4 on the first page. Yeah, you're gonna cross out 4. You're going to cross out most of this entire first page. The only thing you need to know how to do on here is to do like to evaluate and to do the composite functions. So if I'd use these, like if I had these two functions, you need to know, like, you could cross out 11 too. You need to know how to do number 12. What is f of g of 3? And then you just take 3, put it in for this x. So this 3 minus 2 is 1. So g of 3 is 1. And then you're going to take f of 1. So take 1 and put it in for the f. So 1 squared minus 4. Hey. Rocky. Oh my God. Negative 3. Sorry. I'm trying to think what else here. Good, I'm glad you're paying attention now. Let me do, you guys want me to do this one where you have to complete the square? It's Gabe. This one, first of all, you can't even read it. It's 4x squared plus 4y squared. You're gonna have to change this. There's a mistake here. Minus 8x. This should be plus 16y minus 144 equals 0. You are going to have to complete the square tomorrow, and it's going to have to be on a circle. You're not doing it on an ellipse like we did before. The ellipse is the one where you have to divide at the end to get 1. So do you want me to do this problem, or we're okay? Okay. It's similar to the ellipse. So you still have to move the number that's all by itself to constant. You still have to move it over. So this is going to be 4x squared. So here's your x's. I'm going to move these together and move the 144 over. 4x squared minus 8x. Leave a space. And then positive 4y squared. Positive 16. Leave a space. And then I'm going to take this negative 144 and put it over here. What I would do first is I would actually take everything and divide it by 4. So I would take 4 out of here. X squared minus 2x space plus take the 4 out. Y squared. There's only 10 multiple choice. The other ones are short answer. Plus 4y. Like this is a short answer question. This is not the multiple choice one. Then if you complete the square, right? So divide negative 2 by 2. Me? What's 16? You had to change this on the study guide. No. Change the 12 to a 16 or else the problem doesn't work. So completing the square, divide this by 2, you get negative 1. Negative 1 squared is positive 1. Divide 4 by 2, you get 2. Squared is positive 4. 4 times, if you're writing this as a perfect square, it's going to be negative 1 plus 4. What is that? Plus 2. Y plus 2 squared equals 144. At this point, you can divide everything by 4. 4 of these, 4 of these. 4 of something is 144. So if you divide this by 4 and this by 4, you have to divide 144 by 4. 144 divided by 4, what is that? 38? 38. 38. Yeah, 38. So x minus 1 squared plus y. Is it? It's not it. Oh, you're right. It is 36. Thanks. Y plus 2, I don't know who John Smith is, equals 36. So then you could figure out what the center is and then what the radius is, because this is the radius squared. So if this is the radius squared, then the radius is 6. The center's at 1, negative 2. I can't remember if you have to graph it or not. Just be prepared to graph it. So 1, negative 2, 1, negative 2, and then you would count 6 in each direction. Boom, 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 boom. Make a circle. Clearly not like that. Lots of logs. Yeah, there's logs, a lot of logs on the quarterly. I'm going to put the study guide answers up so you can check them. I did some of the logs. I guess that's okay. Yeah, LOL. Well, hey, Rocky. I can't. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That was nasty. Are you guys there still? Christina, if you look at the thing I did in class today. Hold on. Christina, remember I did this in class? That had all the topics on it? The first, like, 10 of these are all the multiple choice, like the types of questions. Anything I did after, like, 10 is like a short answer question. Does that help you? I put this up on Google Classroom, so you can look at this to see which ones are like the multiple choice. And then which ones are not multiple choice. You are gonna have to graph an ellipse. Coming back. Anyway, the logs, the most important thing with the logs is that anytime you see natural log, put e to that power. Because that's just gonna make everything cancel out. So you would put e to this power and e to this power. This would just become x, and then you have a calculator, so you're just going to put e to the 3/4. Put this in the calculator. It's always going to be like a crazy decimal, most of the time. So whatever the crazy decimal is, that's going to be your answer. I wish I could see who else was in here. I don't know. What other questions do you guys have? Right now? Maybe it's your connection. Yeah, Gabe. I don't know. Maybe we have the same optimum Wi-Fi. Well, it's not frozen now. Oh. Hold on. Let me see if my VPN is still on from school. Hold on. Is that better? Are we still blurry? What else? Are we okay with interest formulas? You guys need to know, what is it? You need to know these two formulas. So if you didn't write them down before, I would write them down now, memorize them. Still blurry? So you need to know what these two formulas are. Guys, I don't know why it's blurry. It has to be optimum. I don't know what Wi-Fi you guys are on. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm just going to do the problems, and then if you want to watch it later, you can, I guess. You got to know the difference between these two formulas. So there's these two. This one is for continuous, and it will say in the problem continuously. So this one says continuously. If it gives you a time frame, like quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, whatever, that's when you have to use this like more crazy one. So this one says compounded quarterly. So P is the principal, so this one would be 900. 1 is always there. The interest rate, make sure you write it as a decimal. So right now the interest is at 10%, but you're going to make it 0.10 or 0.1 over the number of times. The number of times it's happening is 4, because it's quarterly, so it's 4. 4 goes up here for n, because the number of times, and t is the number of years. So this one is at 5 years. Put that in the calculator. Let me see, I have the answer here. Why do I feel like that's Richie? I think it's Richard. I could just be guessing though. I don't know who it is. They're in timeout for 300 seconds, so. Here we go. I got the answer. The answer is like 1,400. So 1,474 and 75 cents. And then if it said do it continuously, that's when you use PERT. So 900 times E, and then the rate is still a percentage. And the time, this one, you don't need to know the 4 for this one. This one's just 5 years. And then you put that in the calculator. And when you get the answer, it's going to be 1483.85. I got to talk to the other pre-calculus teachers and see. I would come in with, like, prepared to know what they are. I would memorize those 2 formulas, and if I give them to you, then I give them to you. If not, know what they are. I'd memorize them and write them down on the top of the quarterly tomorrow. Like, as soon as you get it, write these 2 things on the very top. What other questions do you guys have? Are you okay with circles, ellipses? I use E to cancel out natural logs. Do you choose? Yeah, more. I'm going to post it right after this. I forgot to post it earlier. No, you just put it to E. You don't multiply by E. You're talking about like, I don't know. You're talking about if it said like lnx equals, I don't know, Sean. lnx equals 6 or something. Like this, Rose? You're putting E to this power. So you're going to put E to this power. And then you're going to put E to this power. So when you do this in the calculator, you have x equals E to the 6. The number you're going to put is E to the x. There's like a little button on the calculator. It's next to the 4. You're going to type this, like hit this button, and then put 6 in place of x. I already did. You're welcome. Any questions on circles or ellipses? Any questions at all? All right, hold on. Wait, is that the whole setting? The location. All right, hold on, Antonio. 4. With the time? When the time is 0? That question? It doesn't matter what it says. I could give you anything. I could tell you y equals 1,000 times 1/2 to the t over 6. If I ask you how many things exist at when the time is 0, t is for time. So if time is 0, replace 0 in for t. 0 divided by 6 is 0. So this becomes 0. Anything to the 0 power is really 1. And then 1 you cannot take the quarterly right now. No, I don't have it with me. What happened? The question is about the foci. The question's about the foci. There is a question on the quarterly that you have to graph. So let me just think of something real quick, and I'm gonna do the whole thing for the ellipse. So let me come up with an equation real quick. I'll just do x minus 3 squared. Let me keep the numbers small. So if this is the equation of the ellipse, you're gonna have to know a few things. You're gonna have to know where the center is. You're gonna have to know the axis, the major axis, the minor axis, the vertices, the covertices, and the location of the foci, and the length of the foci. Let me change this real quick. Let me make this, because I know this will work out. Let me make this 36, and let me make this 25, because we'll get a nice number at the end. So I'm going to switch it up. So the center is going to be at +3, -1. You have to figure out which one's the major and which one's the minor. It has nothing to do with x and y. It has to do with the denominator. So in this one, the denominator is 36. So it goes underneath x, which means your x is going to be longer. So it's almost going to be like a football. So from this point, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one's 5. So you're already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it looks very circular, but it's not. It is an ellipse. It's just one longer on the x than the y. It's not a good ellipse. Let's move that down. That way it's more ovular. So right now, there's the ellipse. You're going to have to figure out a few things. The vertices, those are the points on the edges, on the ends of the major axis. So if this is right now at 3, -1, remember you added 6 to both sides on the x because x is running this way. So you have to add 6 to 3 and you have to subtract 6 from 3. So these locations would be at 9, -1, and then you went 6 away from 3. So now you're at -3, -1. And then the co-vertices would be for the minor axis because this is smaller, this is 5. So you're at -1, you have to go up 5. So -1 going up 5 puts you at 3, 4. And then -1 going down 5. No, that was just a question on the quiz. -1 going down 5 is going to be 3, -6. And that's what changes. No, that was just a quiz question. That's not in the quarterly. That was just for fun on the quiz. The other thing you're gonna have to find is the foci. The foci, the focus, each of the focuses, they have to be on the major axis. So you need to remember the formula. This one's easy. C squared equals a squared minus b squared. These you're just going to take the numbers in order from biggest to smallest. So you're going to make a 36 and b 25. 36 minus 25 is 9. That's c squared. So c equals 3. So from this center, you're going to travel on the x-axis because x is bigger. You're going to travel 3 away. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So here's the major axis. You have to pay attention to what the question is, because the question could ask you two things. It could say, what are the length? The length is 3. The location is different. The location is, here was the center at 3, -1, and you moved on the x 3. You moved 3 from 3. So the two location for the foci are +3 and then -3. So 6, -1 would be here. And then 0, -1. Hold on, Antonio. If it was a radical, you just do the same thing. You just wouldn't be able to get like a nice number at the end. You'll be okay tomorrow. So like you would have to add it as a radical, but hopefully if you do everything correctly, you won't have to deal with the radical, if that makes sense. But just for tomorrow. What is this? We did completing the square. What about if you had to make a circle, the equation of a circle? There's one like that on the study guide. This one. Do you need me to do this one? If you insist. I don't know, there's 17 people. There's 17 people in here. Tell me if you want me to do the problem or not. If nobody wants me to do the problem, I won't do the problem. Okay, I'll do it. Ghosts. They're all ghost watchers. I don't know who anybody is. I'm going to do the one from the quarterly. I'm just going to do... Devin, you've missed so much. I did so many logs in the beginning of the video. I'll go back to logs. Let me do this question about circles real quick. So if you have 2 points for the diameter, 2, -5, -7, -9. If you want to just visualize what's happening, 2, -5 is like down here somewhere. And then -7, -9 is like down here. these are the endpoints of the diameter, and you're trying to get the equation of a circle. So that means that these are the endpoints of the diameter, so it has to go through the entire circle, so it's sort of like that. You got to do two things. The easiest thing you have to do is you have to find the midpoint. So if you find the midpoint between these 2 points, you'll find the center of the circle. So midpoint, what do? Add them together and divide by 2. So if you add these two things together, you get -5. -9 and 5, what is that? -14. Divide these by 2. So the center is at -2.5, -7. So here's the center. -2.5, -7. So when you start writing the equation of the circle, and this is, you're not going to have the equation in front of you, so you're going to have to know what letters to put where and what signs to put where. You're going to have to remember it's x. I always do this first, because then I know it goes x something squared, y something squared, and then I can just fill in the numbers. Take the center, make it the opposite. The hardest part is going to be finding the radius, because you have to remember the distance formula. So if you want to find the radius, it doesn't matter. You can use these 2 points, or you can use these 2 points. It won't matter. It's the same radius. So I'm just going to take these 2 points because I'm going to. One of them is at 2, -5. The other one's at -2.5, -7. When you're doing the distance, remember to find the difference. Well, your connections, something's wrong with your connection then. 2 minus -2.5 is 4.5. -5 minus -7 is 2. You're going to square these, add them, and take the square root. I don't have the answer in front of me, but I do know I did it. It winds up being something crazy. Hold on. It winds up being 164.25. I forgot to bring a calculator home. So this winds up being the square root of 164.25. That's the radius. Remember, the formula has you doing radius squared. So if this is the radius, to get the radius squared, you're just squaring a square root. It's just a number. So then that would be the equation of the circle. So you really just need to know how to do the midpoint. That's step 1, and then you have to do the distance formula. It shouldn't wind up being a decimal tomorrow. It might not be a perfect square, but I don't think it's a decimal. Oh my God. Devin, what are the questions about logs? No? That's weird. All right, hi. Devin, are you still in here or what? It doesn't count. Devin, are you still in the live to watch about logarithms? Okay, great. Thanks. If you're doing logs, you got to use the loop trick. Here for so if it said like, let me just hold on. Like if it said log for 3x plus 2 equals 3. Use the loop trick. So take the base, loop it around, and then point to the thing that's next to the base. So when you're rewriting it, you would do 4 to the 3 equals 3x plus 2. 4 to the third power is what? 64 equals 3x plus 2. And then 62 would equal 3x. And then just divide by 3. It's going to be a fraction, but whatever. So x would equal 62 over 3. That's that part you got to use for looping it. You got to know the rules of if you're adding something, it came from multiplying, and if you're subtracting something, it came from being divided. So like, I don't know, log 2x plus log 4 equals log, I don't know, 2x minus 8. This is being added, which means that originally this was being multiplied. And then since they're all the same base, log, 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 you can just set them all equal. So this times this equals 2x minus 8. So right now this is going to be 8x's equals 2x minus 8. Move the 2 over, you get 6x equals negative 8. X equals negative 8, 6, then reduce it. So you need to know that part about logs. Yeah. And then you got to remember about natural logs and base E. He's upstairs. He doesn't feel well. So if I had natural log x equals 8, you're going to put e to this power, and you're going to put e to this power. E to the ln. Anytime you see these two things together, these are inverses. So this just becomes 1. This x drops down. And then tomorrow on the calculator, you're just going to put e to the 8th. Whatever this is in the calculator, it's always going to be like a crazy decimal. Whatever that is, that's the answer. And then the opposite would be if it had e. So if it said like e to the 2x equals 6. If you take the natural log of e, this will become 1, which means you have to take the natural log of 6. This is again going to be some crazy decimal. This 2x comes down. Whatever the crazy decimal is, you're going to divide by 2. So then x would be whatever the crazy thing is divided by 2, whatever the number is. What else? We did that one. Ooh, good question. Oh, it was packed. I think there was like 30 students in the geometry one. No, you cannot get extra credit for being in the live. That's an unfair extra credit. You do need to know how to factor. You do need to know how to factor. Which I don't think we went over in class. Would you like me to do that one now? I'll make this the last one. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's 7:52. ln x plus 1 ln x plus 1 equals ln 7x minus 23 minus ln. I don't know how x minus 3. I don't know how. I don't even know where it goes to. It was only for 300 seconds. It's like 5 minutes. There you are. All right, real quick, last question. This subtraction means that these two things were originally divided. So if you write this as a fraction, notice that these are all natural logs. So you can write this as one big equation. So you could take x plus 1 over here equals, and then you can take these two things, and since they're originally subtracted, you can write them as division. So you can write them as 7x minus 23 over x minus 3. This looks a little bit crazy, and it kind of is, but you need to get this fraction to be a whole number. So in order to do that, you need to multiply this times x minus 3. And you need to multiply this by x minus 3. If you do this, and if you do these x minus 3s, this is going to become 1. So this just drops down, 7x minus 23. This is the part where you have to be careful, because you're really multiplying, and you have to do first, outer, inner, last, or distribute. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And there's an equal sign there. I don't know what that means. Negative 2x minus 3 equals 7x minus 23. This is where you have to factor. So all of this has to get moved over to one side. So I'm going to take away 7x, I'm going to add 23. Take away 7x, add 23. I don't know what period do you have it? X squared, this becomes minus 9x, this becomes positive 20. What are the factors of 20 that would give you 9? It has to be 5 and 4. It's not going to be 2 and 10. It's not going to work. They both have to be negative because this is negative 9. So multiplying would give you positive 20. Adding together would give you negative 9. So then x would equal 5, or or x would equal 4. I don't think that's the case. So x plus 5 or x equals 4. So if I were you, I would try to do this problem by yourself after this is over, which is going to be in 4 minutes. I'm going to post the answers to the study guide. Make sure you know what you're doing because we don't have time tomorrow to go over questions before the the quarterly. Yeah, there's 2 answers. What else? Yeah, there's 2 answers. Remember, if there's not, like if you had an ellipse or a circle and it just said x squared plus y squared equals 36. Remember, if there's nothing here and nothing here, the center is at 0, 0. Because you're really adding 0 here and adding 0 here. So the center would be at 0, 0, and then whatever the radius is. Same thing for the ellipse. You guys have any other questions? I'm about to shut this off. So for the ln, yeah. What about the ln? Like that. Yeah, but you're not going to use E. You're not going to use E or anything. The only time you're going to use E is if you have like a single ln. Like if it just said ln 2x plus 3 equals 8. Yeah, just solve it like that. You can solve it like that because you were originally subtracting, which means you can turn it into a different equation. You can turn it into division. Which part are you on? This one is not from the study guide. This one I just made up. It's not on the study guide. I don't think we didn't do it in class, but it's not on the study guide, but you need to know how to do it. Any other questions? It's almost 8 o'clock. All right. Almost our bedtime. It is almost my bedtime. All right. I am ending the live. If you have questions, try to look at the study guide. I'm about to put it up right now. Oh my God. Anyway, look at the study guide, ask each other questions. If you want to email me, you can, but I probably won't see it until tomorrow. So really, if you have any questions, you can ask me like in the hallway before the quarterly, but we don't have time to review in class. This is a very large review here that you just got. So watch it again. And that's it. Good night. See you tomorrow.